The surprise announcement from President Trump just hours after Iran retaliated against the United States. Iran fired missiles at a U.S. military base in Qatar in response to the U.S. attack on 3 Iranian nuclear sites over the weekend. And then some 6 hours after that, President Trump announced on Truth Social that Israel and Iran have agreed to a complete and total ceasefire to be phased in over the next 24 hours. Fox 4 Sean Rabb in our Dallas newsroom with the very latest on these fast-moving developments. Sean.
Yeah, a lot to get to tonight. President Donald Trump says the ceasefire will not just be a break in hostilities, but in his words, an official end to the war. Earlier today, Iran fired 14 ballistic missiles at a U.S. military installation in Qatar, a retaliatory attack to Operation Midnight Hammer that the president called a very weak response. Iranian ballistic missiles in the nighttime sky over Qatar, aimed at a sprawling American military base there. 2 days after B-2s dropped 14 30,000-pound bombs on nuclear enrichment sites inside that Middle East nation.
Oh, it's absolutely the most reasonable outcome one could expect.
Ralph Carter is professor of political science at Texas Christian University with a focus on international relations and Middle East foreign policy. Qatar was notified of the Iranians' retaliation before missiles were launched and closed its airspace. Reports are U.S. Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff has been in communication with the Iranians since Operation Midnight Hammer over the weekend. The U.S. likely had prior knowledge as well. The missiles fired by Iran, short and medium-range ballistic weapons, were intercepted by defense systems.
It looks like, no damage was done, no lives were lost, no planes were lost. And so consequently, Iran gets to save face at home and avoid humiliation by claiming, well, we struck at the largest U.S. military base in the region. At the same time, by minimizing the damage, they've signaled to the United States and the White House that they don't want this to go farther.
Carter says now would be time for the U.S. and Iran to talk to each other.
They have something to say, which is whatever remains of their nuclear program. And Trump gets to say, I forced them to the negotiating table. So in that sense, it's at least a partial win for both sides.
And now perhaps a broader win for the Middle East. The ceasefire is supposed to begin in roughly 6 hours. According to the agreement posted on Truth Social, the ceasefire will hold for 24 hours, at which time the war will be declared officially over. The president saying the Israel-Iran conflict should go down in history as the 12-day war.
All right, Sean, thank you. Amid all the military activity in the Middle East, President Trump will travel to the Netherlands tomorrow for a NATO summit. The war in Ukraine will be a main topic as European allies worry about a growing threat from Russia. A proposed increase in defense spending will be at the top of President Trump's agenda. At the summit, members could vote to increase their defense spending as much as 5% of their GDP.
The president has been calling on our NATO allies to do more for quite some time. He got them to step up and do more in his first term, and you'll hear the president talk about that on this next historic trip to Europe.
President Trump says the United States should not have to pay a full 5%, given America's past contributions to the overall alliance.